Hello, everyone. Welcome to another interview. I'm joined today by Kaya from OWCS YEAH, and we're here to talk about everything in the main event and what got him here. But first, Kaya, I actually want to start with just you individually. How did you end up in this position? Because obviously, a lot of people will go on the ladder and they'll climb. At what point in your sort of journey up the ladder do you decide Junkrat is the one for me, and this will be my life from here on?
Well, I think I was always a one trick, but in like each role. So
Okay.
I had like ever since I started playing Overwatch, like Junkrat was like my main DPS hero, right? But I also was playing a lot of Zen, and I was playing a lot of Winston and Reinhardt. But then after Role Queue came, I started OTPing on each role, and Junkrat took me the highest. So I think after playing Role Queue like 2 seasons, I got like top 10 pretty quick and stuff on Junk. So it was just on the way from there.
And then how do you go then from being just a top-rated Junkrat on ladder to you get contacted? Reach out to you? How does you end up joining up with these guys?
Oh, yeah, I was just it was like after a pretty long period of time of maybe like a year into OTPing, I just got a Twitter DM from Chasm. Was like, would you be interested in playing with Avoided? And yeah, I just joined them from there.
And what was it like when we first joined the team? Because did you really practice all that much, or was the plan just we're going to come together, we're going to play the tournament, and just see how it goes?
Yeah, I mean, we just went into it was open division first. We just went in and we pretty much stomped everyone, but then we had like I don't remember why exactly, but we did really bad in trials, so we just went out instantly. And then the second go around, we just stomped everyone in open division again, and we got third in contenders that season.
Yeah. And then, because you've obviously, how long is it now you've been playing with YEAH all together? In the years,
it's gonna be 3 years. 3 years soon.
3 years. And do you feel then, even though you maybe don't get as much practice as like I don't know, like a traditional team, maybe, do you feel then just because you've been together for so long, you actually have a really good understanding with each other and all the players?
Totally. Like I think you can notice it a lot in our comps as well. Like we don't exactly like fight plan a lot. We just everyone knows because we do like ult calling, right? Like Hamper will tell us like what ults do they have and stuff like that, and then just individually everyone will make their own like little plans and just go from there, you know. And I think that's something you can't really do unless you've played a long time together. Just understanding where everyone is going to be and stuff like that.
I noticed a little bit when I was watching like Chasm's stream, and obviously you have the comms on. It feels like there's a lot of times as well where you're just sort of like either suggesting little things to each other, or they'll be like, "Oh yeah, play their Kai and it's really good" or something, and everyone's just sort of paying attention to each other and suggesting little things, and then playing the fight with that in mind, you know?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the time is me and Ball talking to each other, and then Pamp and Saipe talking to each other, and like Ball saying, "Oh, can you go here if I slam here, or can you slam this? I want to do this," you know. So, but that's basically all the fight plan we have. It's not like, oh, they have this ult, we need to play exactly here, or you know.
Yeah, it sounds a lot more like it's just a lot of people calling the core stuff. If like, all right, the cap's closed, I'll watch Pointless fight or something, you know. These kind of like small things. Do you do then, like, say when you come into like the Ataraxia game, right, in group stage, do you do much like either VOD review or prep, or do you even meet up beforehand to be like, here's the maps we want to play or ban or anything like that?
It's not really like we meet up because like we're pretty much always in the same voice chat anyway. So I was just looking a bit, seeing what comps they were playing, and that didn't even result into anything. I felt like it was a confidence boost watching, like, knowing what they played, because to me it looked like they were really beatable. And when they came in on the comps they were playing, it was like they had for sure not like prepared for us like at all.
Well, yeah, it really felt, especially you just had their number in so many situations. Like, it felt like they weren't really sure what they wanted to swap to. They kind of just stuck the same thing for a lot. They tried to play a lot of dive, and they just got traded the entire time. Do you guys have that in mind when you run into... Because obviously by this time, you've played so much, you've probably had everyone try and counter you in almost any way possible, right? Do you have a sort of general play style you have? Like, are they playing like a Anna Brig dive type comp, or they're playing like a brawly comp?
We in that game we definitely went like a lot for trades. Like they were really, how do you say it, like you could see what they wanted to do. Like, they have nano, they will jump here, ball, can you slam on some of the thing, we will trade it like instantly. And we were just out trading them on every single engage.
Yeah, it felt in particular as well. I don't know what it was, but you just seemed to have Shax's number on every map as well. You just, anywhere he went, you just had him locked down.
Sorry. I feel like he just disrespected my character. Like, he wasn't. He would have like all blinks up and recall, and he just disrespected it. Like, I just walked at him and killed him. It was like he was not playing that much of like well at all.
It feels like in theory as well, like, as Tracer just taking these duels on one is like a good thing for the Tracer to do, something her hero's pretty strong at. But it feels like not just Shax, but in general, you always just seem to have, sometimes, I don't know what it is, but some Tracers, you just have their number the entire thing. Do you think it's the same thing if they just don't, people aren't giving you enough respect?
Yeah, I mean, I really think so, because, I mean, Tracer should beat a Junkrat in a 1v1. It's like such a super difficult matchup. I feel like I really haven't been able to do this to any Tracer except for this match. And the same goes for like something that was really noticeable with Ataraxia was like their backline wasn't respecting either, like at all. Like you can tell that MCD has just never played like a comp like this ever.
Yeah.
Because he would just be standing next to edges. He would be sending sleep darts like pre-fight, and we were just always punishing that.
Yeah, well, it felt like, and I feel like you probably feel this in a lot of your matches, where once you start getting success, your team starts having success, sometimes the other team just crumbles. And it feels like that's kind of what we saw from Ataraxia. Like, I think maybe particularly on Colosseo, when you were able to make that comeback, it then felt once that happened, there was no hope in map 4 for him. You'd sort of like won the mental battle essentially.
Yeah, probably. Like they were playing so scared on New Junk City. On Colosseo, there was some moments where they like caught us by surprise. Like, they were super proactive. But then on New Junk City, they just fell apart. So.
When I listened to the comms after you had the comeback on Colosseo, a lot of you were saying stuff like, "Oh, I can't believe you won push" or something. Is push like is it just like the hardest mode for like the type of comps you end up playing?
I don't know. Like normally we haven't struggled on push since it was introduced, but the past like month or something like that, we have had like zero success on this map with so I don't know if it's because of the map. Like, we've played a lot on Esperanza, but like even against like a lot of, how would you say it, like not even like top 16 teams, we have struggled on push this past month. So it felt really good winning a push map against such a like high level team, I guess.
Well, especially the comeback victory as well. It's not very often you get to see comebacks like that, especially on Colosseo as well.
I am. Sorry. Go on.
I was going to ask you, do you think as well, because one of the things I think a lot of people maybe thought when it was the Season 9 change and they sort of boosted everyone's health pools and that, is that certain heroes, like, say, Junkrat, would suffer a lot from this. How strong do you think your hero is like in the current patch right now?
I mean, it depends. Like in what scenario you're asking. In ranked, he is completely unplayable. You can't carry on this hero. You cannot. You just can't do anything. But in officials, it's way different, obviously, because just you still have the damage. Like you still have like the amount of pressure. You can't get solo kills, but I would say. At least playing against the comps that they're playing right now, I would say he's pretty similar to what he was like before this patch. But yeah, ranked is a no-go. It's not fun.
We saw as well, it didn't happen obviously in the Ataraxia game, but there were maybe in some of the earlier series in groups as well, or maybe even Swiss. There were times where occasionally you'd swap off Junkrat as well. Is that like really a last resort for you guys ever to do, or what was the thinking sometimes when we'd see you like swap off? I think like maybe it was the earlier group stage you went on Sombra, I think, for maybe a Midtown at some point.
Oh yeah, they were just playing like Diva, Pharah and stuff, and it's like, oh, they're just playing to counter the Junkrat. If I'm like a single piece of effective, we will just win, you know, because on Junkrat I'm not doing anything. If I could just do something, we just win.
It feels like one of the things that maybe changed your fortunes, maybe from like stage 1 to stage 2, is it felt like you were playing a bit more Ken. Because I felt like what some teams would do to you would be, if you and Kaiser were in, they'd play Echo or something. And then it's a very hard matchup for either of your heroes to take. You have to kind of like really outplay them to win it. But with Ken in, he's able to just play between the Cassidy quite a lot. So it feels like nobody really plays that much Echo into you anymore. Is that something you've consciously done, or is it just Ken just sort of picking heroes now he feels helps?
I mean, Mei Junk is still like the optimal comp for us to run, I think. But like it's so much chaos, and Mei has really good synergy with Ball because she can like anchor point and stuff. But it's not really possible versus Orisa because Orisa just doesn't care about Mei. She don't care. She
can't get walled, can't get frozen. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been playing a lot more Ken. Also, why we struggled in the previous patch, the Mauga stuff was just it was too much of a mirror. Like the comps were too similar. They knew how to play against Mauga, you know. It's just a bit of other DPS. So they just knew how to play against us. Basically, I don't think it was an Echo certified like problem. It was just the comp was too standard. Because normally we would be able to play stuff like, I mean, Hampe on BAP really deals with echoes otherwise, so echo is usually not a big problem.
And we saw, I don't know if you saw, there was maybe a bit of drama in North America because there's another team, Timeless Nightmare Rotation, who have very much a similar vibe to you in terms of wanting to play their own stuff. And one of the teams they beat, their coach was very upset that they had to counter swap. From your perspective, how hard is it to deal? What's the hardest thing for your team to deal with in terms of like if a team's just playing like a really good meta, or if they start swapping to stuff specifically designed to minimize your impact on Junkrat or deal with Chasm on board or whatever it might be?
Not gonna lie, I think we have like surpassed the like we're good enough so we can deal with any character swaps on our characters. Like, but what is like a struggle, right? Is if you know the enemy team are like mechanically skilled, like they can match us, but I don't really think there's like a good way to just like a standard way to just counter, because like some teams might play like Diva Echo like stuff like that and we beat them, but then another team plays Diva Echo and we lose to them. It's like all what strengths that team has, you know.
Yeah, well, I think there were definitely times we felt on London as well when there were certain teams who had like a much better read of how to play into our style of comp, and it wasn't necessarily a hero or something that caused us. It was just some teams had a better read than others. And the first team you're going to have to play now you've made top 8 is Twisted Minds. So have you played this sort of core of Twisted Minds quite a lot before, right, from contenders as well? What's your sort of feeling of this matchup going into it?
we played them in Swiss stage actually, and I think we played them quite well. It was like it wasn't close, but we took them to 2-1 on Oasis, and we took them like they couldn't full cap Iconwald either. So I mean, I think like from that game they definitely look beatable. Also that they don't really have like the Orisa player. Also, I think makes it a bit
Can
more
help you.
beatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, we don't know exactly who they're going to play, but like if they do end up having to drop Lubda in, it's a really awful debut, I think, to have your first game on tank versus you guys. It's not a nice one for him.
but the struggle will definitely be to like try and deal with their DPS, because they will kill everyone at parts, and we'll just have to try and beat that.
Yeah, yeah. A problem a lot of teams run into against Twisted Minds. Where would you guys have to finish? Because obviously in an ideal world you'd win the whole thing, right, and book your ticket to Dallas. But how far in the tournament would you have to get to maybe look back and kind of look at it as like, that was a successful tournament, we did pretty well?
I mean, I think I mean, obviously there's like a big top 3 or even like a top 2 right now with like ENS, SSG, Twisted Minds, like but maybe like SSG looks like really like unbeatable, but I think top 4 is definitely achievable and something we should like aim for. Like the other teams are like way like there's a big tier gap, I think, in the current YEAH, so I think top 4 is really achievable.
Is there any team you're particularly looking forward to playing, or like you'd really like to play, or think you match up quite nicely against?
I mean, I want to do well versus like one of the big teams. So like see how like, because we played SSG in Swiss as well, and we got stomped. But I think we have a much better like read on how to play and what maps to pick and stuff like that. So I want to see how much we've improved since the Swiss stage. So playing one of the like big teams would be exciting.
Last thing I want to ask you as well, actually, was talked a little bit to Hempe on stream afterwards, and we talked about the scrim situation, because I think you were saying you've not really scrimmed for a couple of years in reality. If teams were willing to scrim you, is it the sort of thing you'd be looking to do more often?
I'm not sure actually, because the only time I've scrimmed with the team was during Overwatch 2 beta, where you obviously couldn't get any other practice. And I don't know. I don't know if I liked it, honestly. It was just if you got like a bad scrim, you were just either like stomping or get stomped the entire like 2 hours. And it also like it feels kind of exhausting playing like basically a best of 7 during and just full tryharding and stuff like that. So I don't know if I enjoy it, but I mean, I'd be down to try again now 2 years later.
Do you think it would benefit your team more or the other team more? As in, do you think you'd learn more from the scrim because you'd get more chance to practice and improve, or do you think other teams would actually learn more from getting to play versus your comp?
I think just playing like one scrim against them doesn't really hurt, but like if you have like frequent like scrim partners and stuff, yeah, obviously they will figure out like a way to beat us, because I mean our comp is just chaos. There's no structure. Like we're so inconsistent in how we play. So yeah, I think just scrimming like a team once or twice, they wouldn't really even like get a grasp on how we play. But further than that, it's probably not beneficial for us.
Yeah, well, I think it's one thing we always found, like back on British Hurricane versus Avoided, is when you're playing against these type of teams, they love chaos. Just try and not let it be chaotic, or they're gonna start to run away with it.
Yeah, it's just the second we get we're allowed to like take trades and stuff, the game will just devolve into madness.
Yeah, well, I think everyone really saw that in the Ataraxia game is now when you have that sort of space to play and stuff, suddenly like you and Chasm are just getting multiple kills every fight, and it just really starts to become really tough for the enemy to control anything.
Yeah. I
And
mean, it's just.
go
Oh,
on.
sorry. It's just. I mean, like, especially for like Ataraxia as well. Like the second they like lose their like confidence, it becomes so easy to play. You just have infinite space to do anything you want with. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really hard to get that balance right. I think of you have to not play scared, but you have to not feed either, and then suddenly you just get hit by a Junkrat minor cross, or Chasm manages to trade your backline for the fourth time or something, and everyone starts to feel the tension come into it. And I mean, especially in the main event, right, when it starts to be like elimination games, I think the pressure probably works against other teams more than it works against you, I'd say. And then last one, maybe you've already alluded to this already, but if you had to pick excluding your own team, a favorite for the tournament, who's the strongest right now?
SSG is the strongest. Like honestly, I don't know. I haven't kept up with like scrims and stuff, but just by like feeling how they play and stuff, I think they just, I don't know. I feel like they shouldn't drop a map even. Like they're like dominant right now. So that's my opinion. But below that, it's closer. But yeah, SSG on top for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people have said. So SSG is certainly coming in as big favourites. But thank you very much, Kaya. I do appreciate the time. Obviously, best of luck to you and the team for the weekend. And hopefully we'll see a few more upsets come your way.
Thank you.